Welcome to Quest for Knowledge. Today we are going to go through with the summary of Towards a Competitive Nation written by APJ Abdul Kalam. This one is for the BCom first sem. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, we'll go through about the author. APJ Abdul Kalam was born on October 15, 1931 and passed away on July 27, 2015. He is an acclaimed personality, born and raised in Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu. He studied physics and aerospace engineering. He was 11th President of India, that is from 2002 to 2007. He was a scientist, science administrator in DRDO and ISRO, and he is also called as the Missile Man of India. So this present essay is taken from Turning Point, which is his biography, a kind of a biography which he written, A Journey Through Challenges, the inspiring sequel after the Wings of Fire. Okay, he wrote Wings of Fire, and this one is like a second part of the sequel of the Wings of Fire, that is Turning Point. So let's get through with the summary. So the essay Toward a Competitive Nation is an extract from the autobiographical book Turning Point. His journey is about what and all the challenges he faced, what and all the journey he gone through, what and all the experience he got and the challenges he got. That is what he has written. So by the former President of India, that is the writing, he has penned down all his feelings and challenges and his perspective regarding what and all the changes we Indians need to bring in to more develop our country in a better manner. So Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the book Turning Point is a blueprint of making India a developed country. So he dreams India to change, to transform from a developing country to a developed country. So he has given a blueprint in what and all the manner we need to improve, we need to progress ourselves to become a developed country. So he suggests some measures to make judiciary, parliament and executive more efficient in their functioning. Now, Dr. Kalam begins the essay Toward a Competitive Nation by drawing attention of the scientist while urging them to use invention in technology. First, we need proper and very good manners of invention in technology to uplift, to progress the lives of 750 million people who live in the villages. So now Dr. Kalam reveals that in 50 years career in the field of science and technology, he realized that country can only develop through progress in agriculture and technology. So he says there is 3 area where the country can be developed. So it is with the help of agriculture and technology only can India prosper, can India can lead to the progress, and it can transform itself from the developing country to developed country. So he says the 3 area which need to be focused more is nanotechnology, e-governance and biodiesel. So in order to give impetus and a conducive environment for innovation, he decided to start experimenting in Rashtrapati Bhavan itself when he was the President of India. So according to Dr. Kalam, complex innovation required combined thinking of various specialists. So it is not a one-man army thing. So when you want to improve, when you want to progress in all the field, you have to get proper discussed with the specialists. Then only a proper solution we can brought it forward. The consideration of different opinions and efficient team to execute mission and action. Hence 3 unique conferences on nanotechnology, governance and biodiesel were organized in Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi and the presidential retreat in Secunderabad. These conferences provide to be beneficial for the future development of India. So now Dr. Kalam had a very good discussion with Professor C.N.R. Rao. who is the honorary president of Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, which is in Bengaluru, and other specialists in India and abroad also. And the future course of research and development, he wanted to do the research. So what are all the things we need to give more important to, like nanotechnology, nanoscience and technology, and how it can help us in agriculture, medicine, space, energy. And Dr. Kalam was impressed and inspired with such discussion that he organized a full day conference in Rashtrapati Bhavan. As a result, the government of India planned to invest 1,000 crore. The government wanted to plan 1,000 crore in coordinate program in 3 fields. Okay, that is what I told to you earlier, that is nanotechnology, e-governance, and another thing was it biodiesel. Okay, after that, so 1,000 crore was being planned to invest to coordinate program involving the 3 fields, which may lead to many important advances and innovation in the respective field of technology. After that, Kalam was very much delighted to know that the scientist of Banaras Hindu University had developed a simple and cost effective method to produce carbon nanotube filters that efficiently removed micro to nanoscale contaminants from water and heavy hydrocarbons from petroleum. So it was like a filter, though the thing is a very nanotube filter it was, but it can remove the dirt from the water and the hydrocarbon from the petroleum. So the combined team of scientists and the private company like Dabur had succeeded in discovering a drug delivery system in treating cancer that directly attacked cancer tumor cell. So even they started discovering a drug delivery system for treatment of the cancer which attacks directly tumor cells. Okay, treating cancer that directly attacked cancer tumor cells. Now Kalam believes that efficient, result oriented and transparent government, that is e-governance, is very much a priority for a developed India. So first of all, he said we need to give more importance in 3 areas, that is 3 key areas. Once he had a discussion with the specialist like Professor CNR Rao and other specialists from India and also from abroad. They had discussed a lot about this, and even government also planned to invest 1,000 crore. And after that, first thing, he got to get impressed with the nanotechnology, the people who were bringing out new inventions, and after that he now started working on e-governance. Why? Because India needed it as a most to develop it and to make a transparent government. So, and in the transition to a knowledge society, this can happen through integration and localization of central and state government, department and agencies. So everyone has to get integrated and united to start such. So the state and central government of Indian Union must strive to plan and implement such scheme with the active participation of both private and public sector company. So with this idea in mind, an e-governance conference was organized, and as a result, an e-governance system was first implemented in Rashtrapati Bhavan. Dr. Kalam foresees a future in India connected with e-governance system where every Indian will have a smart ID card. So when you have a smart ID card which has the access of all information from your education to from your birth to death, every information you can have access to that smart ID card. So when you have that smart ID card, the chances for extremism, the chances for terrorism, and for the chances for the migrant people without proper ID cards and proper, that could be reduced very much in India. So that was the vision of Dr. Kalam. And after that, Kalam believed that water and energy are 2 key sources, that is key resources, that which may lead to conflict in the future. Why? Because we are wasting such resources. Water may get water may get scarce, energy is going to get scarce in the future, so that we need to have to think about it. So that was the another worry for Dr. Kalam. So he made a governors conference was organized to identify and resolve problem in maintenance of water bodies, conservation of natural resources like petroleum, some natural resources which take years to make to get made, okay, naturally. And in maintenance of water bodies, first of all, second is conservation of natural resources and interconnecting river within state and Union of India. Dr. Kalam writes that he has always been campaigning against dependence on fossil fuel and the importance of finding alternative source of energy. He advises that biofuel can be a very good alternate energy resources. So a biofuel conference was again organized in Rashtrapati Nilayam in Secunderabad to highlight and consider all aspects of developing alternative sources of energy. Among the other, farmers who had relevant experience in biofuel resources were also invited to the conference to share their views and experience and how biodiesel can be a better alternative resources than using the fossil fuel. Now, in the conference, the official representing the government had raised issues relating to allotment of non-fertile agricultural land. The land which is not suitable to do the agriculture can be used for growing crops from which we can make biofuel very easily. So, from which biofuel we can extract. After that, the automobile designer, they assured that there wouldn't be any immediate need to develop new automobile diesel engine. For example, if you are going to make for petrol, suitable engine is there. Now if you want to change your resources, that is from petrol to biofuel, if you are wanting to change, then entire engine you have to change as per the resource, as per the resources, to which the automobile engineers, designers, they also assure that there is no immediate need to change the engines also. Why? Because if you mix a certain percentage of biofuel with the diesel, it is you can run the automobiles with the existing design of engines itself. So when you, if you want to mix higher percentage of biodiesel, then we have to make a proper engine design for such automobiles. So if you can mix some amount of biodiesel with the petrol, then no need to make a new engine. But if you want to mix more in the percentage, then we need to design a new engine for such for biodiesel. To which after that, business representative also talked about investment, what are all the investment will be required for producing biodiesel and profit percentages. Dr. Kalam also presented his concept for the use of biofuel. The recommendation of the conference was printed, circulated among all concerned stakeholders. Dr. Kalam is happy that the efforts led to the government to involve a biodiesel policy. So they made a biodiesel policy itself. Now, Dr. Kalam writes that the Rashtrapati Bhavan was instrumental in initiating a path-breaking technological event. So India's moon mission, so that is in 2006, then chairman was of ISRO had discussed India's future space mission like Chandrayaan. Dr. Kalam was sure that Chandrayaan would be the fastest step towards further planetary mission and space exploration. Yes, exactly. After Chandrayaan, we were successful in Mangalyaan as well, and we had Agni, PSLV. There are many successful rocket launches. It has led India to be like NASA shakes hands with ISRO. Why? Because we were the first to reach to Mars in our first attempt. India was successful, to which we really should have to be proud. But because of them, they initiated, to which we are trying to cross many boundaries. Okay, so Chandrayaan would be the first step for the more planetary mission and space exploration. The ISRO chairman had informed Dr. Kalam that the proposed moon mission would enable Indian space scientists to collect scientific information not only about the satellites, about the thing, they can also collect chemical, mineralogical, geological characteristic of the moon. Dr. Kalam had advised the chairman to adopt a combined entry package to the moon with at least one telemetry channel with density or pressure measurement and tone ranging that would enable the scientists to collect data directly from the moon's surface. So the Kalam also advised to the chairman to make a combined entry package like a where we can control the pressure, where we can also collect the information directly from the moon. So Dr. Kalam suggested led to the birth of the moon impact probe, which became a part of Chandrayaan mission. Dr. Kalam writes that he was delighted to know the moon probe landed safely on the moon on 14th of November 2008. So it was the biggest achievement and or like a privileged moment for all Indians to see such achievements and to be evident for such achievements, and really it was a great achievement actually. And after that, Kalam writes about Global Innovation Index. So it is the year 2011. Dr. Kalam found that India ranked 62 in Global Index report, that is Global Innovation Report. Dr. Kalam explains that the innovation index and competitiveness are linked to each other. So the more the competition, the more the innovation. So in 2010 to 11, India ranked 56 in the global competitiveness index. So if India has to gain a ranking within the top 10 countries, it has to build indigenous design capacities. Dr. Kalam explains that India growth was achieved using the outdated technology developed by other nations. So India's growth was achieved actually using outdated technology which was being developed by other nations. The latest technologies are closely guarded as well as patented and unavailable to India immediately. Why? Because nowadays every discovery is being patented. There is royalty to be paid, patented copyright is there. We cannot able to access other inventions. So what and all is India achieving? By keeping the outdated discoveries which has been done by other nations. So now everything is not easily available, immediately available to India. So that is what Kalam says. So it is invariable for India to develop its own research and development infrastructure. So Kalam wanted India should develop its own research and development infrastructure to be one among the top 10 ranked countries in the Global Innovation Index. Dr. Kalam gives an instance where India has successfully developed an indigenous technology. So where we crossed a milestone in technological advancement. It was successful test launch of the Agni 5 missile, wholly completely developed in India in 2012. The Agni 5 missile was the result of rupees 4,000 crore integrated guided missile development program established in the year 1983. In addition to the development of missiles such as Akash, Trishul, Prithvi, Nag, the program was intended to show the re-entry characteristic of a long-range missile. This technology was first demonstrated in May 1989. Many long-range missiles under the category of MTCR, that is Missile Technology Control Regime, were tested by the scientists and engineers of DRDO. These missiles nor their technology is not for sale because it is the result of years of research and development. So after this, Kalam ends the essay indicating that the successful testing of the missile is significant in terms of self-dependent, self-reliant, which enables India to follow an independent foreign policy. So now we'll move on to the various visions that Dr. Kalam had. Now it is our vision. It was just APJ Abdul Kalam's vision, but from now on it will be our vision. So that is transforming the nation into a developed country. 5 areas in combination have been identified based on India's core competence, national resources, talented manpower for integrated action to double the growth rate of GDP and realize the vision of developed India. Agriculture and food processing aimed at doubling the present production of agriculture and food processing. Infrastructure with reliable electric power, providing urban amenities to rural areas, and increasing solar power operation. Why he is giving urge for increasing solar power means to reduce, because of solar it's like very pocket friendly also, and even nature friendly, environment friendly also. That's why he urged for the more solar power operation. After that, he gives more importance to education and healthcare. His vision is to direct towards literacy. People should be directed towards literacy, social security, and overall health for the population. And vision regarding information and communication technology, he wanted to increase e-governance to promote education in remote areas, telecommunication and telemedicines, critical technology and strategic industry, the growth of nuclear technology, space technology and defense technology. Kalam's vision, a nation with faith in God. So we are like very famous. We all have very different religion, different faiths. So we are the nation with faith in God. He wanted to decrease the rate of poverty, illiteracy, and make people educated through media, communities, social networking sites, and increase the Indian market rate currency rate by purchasing Indian manufactured goods. He wanted to increase the Indian market rate currency by increasing the purchasing Indian manufactured goods. A nation where the rural urban divide should be reduced, and all parts of India, not only like urban, all parts of India including urban, rural, everyone to be developed. A nation where there is an equal distribution of adequate access to energy and a quality of water. A nation where agriculture, industry, service sector should work together in harmony, in symphony. A nation where education will be of a great value system in not denying to any meritorious candidate because of societal and economic discrimination. So he wanted equal education and a good value system for all, irrespective of the caste, creed, religion, everything. A nation which is best destination for the most talented scholars, scientists, investors from around the world. A nation where the best of healthcare is available to each and everyone. A nation where governance is responsive, transparent, and even corruption free. A nation where poverty has been totally eradicated, illiteracy is removed, crime against women and children is completely absent, and no one in the society feels alienated. A nation that is prosperous, healthy, secure, devoid of terrorism, peaceful and happy, and continues on a sustainable growth path. A nation that is one of the best places to live in and is proud of its leadership. A nation should be developed places visited by pilgrims in India and capable leadership. So this is all is the vision of Dr. Kalam, and this is not only the vision of Dr. Kalam, as we all are the youth, young bloods of India, this is the vision of all of us. So we, with the love we have, for Kalam, let's do this. Let's all the young bloods join together and let's this vision make a true one. We hope so. And that is it. If you found this video helpful, do like, share, subscribe. Actually, I miss him a lot. Actually, not only I, like everyone, all the youths, every Indian really will miss Abdul Kalam, the way, the personality he was. A great salute to you, sir, and thank you very much for listening.